Alright, what is going on, guys? Gino checking back in for another video today. So, what do you think? Right, I got the 16mm lens on here right now. This is the vlogging lens that I've bought. And I've also got the 30mm lens. And you just look at the focus that we got right here, man. It's fully focused on the lens and not on my face. I'm so glad with this upgrade, man. I'm not gonna lie. So I got the 16mm lens on here right now, and this is the lens that I'm going to be doing my vlogging with, because if I put this lens on here, it's really zoomed in since it's a fixed millimeter lens, and I obviously can't zoom in and zoom out with this lens as well. So I got that lens for when someone is filming me in the gym to get some sick ass content. Or when I'm just recording my workouts and want to get the best quality possible. As I mentioned in the previous video, it's quite an investment, but hey, you gotta do what you gotta do. By the way, here's a quick little preview of what the 30mm lens looks like when I'm showcasing my breakfast. Looks pretty damn sweet, right? Also sipping on some coffee here. Espresso. So good, man. So the cutting phase is completely over right now. I'm fully back at maintenance and I have been for about a week and a half right now. So obviously I filmed the last vlog a little bit earlier than when I posted it, about a week or so. And let me tell you, it feels great, right? The pumps are amazing. I fully filled up again when it comes to my glycogen stores, the muscle fullness, and the pumps that I'm getting in the gym are pretty damn crazy. So I'm just really excited to be heading back to the lean bulking phase again, and just really, again, which is pretty much the goal every year, focus on improving my physique. One of the mistakes that a lot of people make is that they truly get caught up in always wanting to be shredded, wanting to get shredded, and they just end up spinning their wheels and start cutting all year long. And I know for some people this might sound crazy, but trust me when I say that there are a lot of people who get caught up in eating in a deficit all year long. And truth be told, quality of life tends to suck because you're constantly focused on food, saying no to any social events that contain food, and your hormones are all whacked up, you're constantly hungry, constantly moody, workouts suck. So guys, I know that it's fun to be shredded and lean all year round, but trust me when I say that it's worth it to focus on improving and investing in your physique with a caloric surplus by being in a surplus for the majority of the year. And this doesn't have to be a big surplus, guys. Just focus on doing a lean bulk, which allows you to stay lean if you're already lean, which obviously requires a cutting phase. So step number one, get lean with a cutting phase. Eat at maintenance for about 2 weeks to get your hormones all settled back up again. And then focus on being in a caloric surplus for the rest of the year. So without further ado, I'm going to be finishing my espresso right here, do a little bit more work on the computer, and then I have to be at my physical therapist, aka Ruben, my brother, in 1 hour. And then 1 hour after that, I have a personal training client, which I also need to have a meal ready for, so it's work and kitchen time. Alright guys, so 305 grams of white air fried potatoes, 150 grams of broccoli, and 175 grams of chicken. And 1 banana. Alright guys, so 10 minutes into physical therapy and chill, and then this happened. We did some scraping on my biceps, purely to allow for more nerve movement, to allow my nerves to move a lot more freely in my arm. These are just some techniques that allow for better muscular contraction and movement down the road. So again, thank you to my brother Ruben, my physical therapist and a good friend of mine. If you're ever in the area and have any kind of complaints when it comes to lower back, upper back, or any kind of complaint in general, please be sure to hit him up, because the guy knows what he's doing. Oh, this hurts, man. But guys, on a serious note though, be sure to get your body checked every once in a while. Alright, I have no serious complaints at the moment. I did have them back in 2017 when I first met up with Ruben for physical therapy, but these are just some things that will allow you to... Oh man, this is seriously red, guys. Holy crap. To allow for better performance and alignment, symmetry, all of that good stuff down the road. Anyway, I'm at the gym right now. I'm going to be eating my meal, my pre-workout meal, train a client, and then hit legs. Alright guys, as I mentioned, it's leg day. This is my 0 to 1 rep in reserve week, so it's going to be a little bit intense, but hey, that's what we're shooting for. Maximal stimulus, so I got 3.5 plates per side on the machine right here. I'm shooting to go for around 5 to 15 reps, so time for some stimulus. Alright guys, for the dumbbell RDL or dumbbell stiff leg deadlift, whatever you want to call it, be sure to move from the hips. What a lot of people tend to do wrong, and this causes a lot of lower back pain for a lot of people, is that they drop from the lower back, as in straight dropping down. What you need to focus on instead is, imagine closing a cabinet with your hips, like from the back, so that you purely focus on putting the stretch on the glutes and the hamstrings. The RDL is a hip extension movement, so be sure to utilize the function of the hip extension and hip flexion. Keep that in mind, and it'll probably make you feel the hamstrings and the glutes a lot better as well. Alright guys, I am absolutely demolished, but it was a killer workout. I'm about to head home right now and get the post-workout meal in. Is it just me, or is that one of the best feelings ever? Just training like a freaking maniac, going straight to failure or close to failure, and then eating up on a lot of food. So you just saw me do my leg day right there, and that was my 0 to 1 reps in reserve week. Now, how this programming actually works is very simple and straightforward, but you need to pay a little bit of mental attention to where you're actually at on the reps in reserve scale, or whatever you want to call it. So just pretty straightforward. The way that my current programming works is I have a mesocycle of 5 weeks. So that is one actual straight training block, alright? So in week 1, I have 3 to 4 reps in reserve as my target. That means that on every single exercise, I'm going to a point where I can intuitively feel and say that I'm 3 to 4 reps away from actual true muscular concentric failure. And that point would actually mean that I'm, for example, performing an incline dumbbell press and cannot get the weight up anymore. That is concentric failure. So I want to be 3 to 4 reps away from that point. So do that on every single exercise, every single set. And then in week 2, I move on to 2 to 3 reps in reserve. So that's obviously a little bit more intense already. Do that for another week. Then in week 3, I'm at 1 to 2 reps in reserve. So that is almost at maximal intensity. And then in week 4, I'm going to 0 to 1 reps in reserve. And this is the maximal amount of stimulus that I can provide my muscles with, which is the most productive and effective if you want to actually stimulate hypertrophy. And then in week 5, since I mentioned that my training block is 5 weeks, in week 5, I deload. And while I previously did the whole 70% of the weight that you were doing kind of deload weeks, I'm typically doing a volume deload right now, which means that I put all of my working sets at 2 sets per exercise. And instead of deloading the weight that I was doing, I'm picking the weights that I did in week 1 of my mesocycle. So let's just say, for example, I did the bench press 2 plates per side for 3 sets of 8 reps. I would then perform 2 sets of 4 reps with 2 plates per side on the bench press. And then I do that for every single exercise as well. Now the whole reasoning behind this is that in the scientific literature, it's not fully supported that training to failure is actually most effective if you look at it from a results perspective. But at the end of the day, when you look into the practical aspect of things, the biggest guys, whether they're natural or enhanced, are all kind of training to failure. And truth be told, you're providing your muscles with the biggest stimulus possible when you're going to failure, or at least training close to failure. So by programming your training in a way that you're building up the level of intensity until you reach failure, which is also the kind of training style that is the hardest to recover from, you kind of have the best of both worlds, where you're training intense enough in the first couple of weeks and then training as hard as you can in the last week, after which you obviously have a deload. So you're constantly going in a pretty linear graph upwards, taking a small little deload, going in a linear graph again, and eventually you will have a straight line of progression. Now what this has meant for me is that personally I have been upping the ante a lot when it comes to my training intensity, and I'm not gonna lie that even though I've been training for 8.5 years as of this moment right now, ever since I've been doing this, and I've been doing this for around, I believe, a year or something, I've kind of been fine-tuning it here and there, but I've fully locked in and zoned in on this training style for at least, I'd say, 8 months or something. The results have been insane, guys, I'm not gonna lie. Now, obviously this is not for everyone, and I do not recommend this for beginners as well. But what you can do is, if you follow a certain training program, which I obviously highly recommend you guys to do anyway, try to at least go as hard as you can with good form, with proper exercise execution and tension on the muscles. Try to up the intensity in the last week of your training cycle, after which you deload and can allow yourself to recover from that style of training. As I mentioned, it worked wonders for me, and I'm definitely going to be continuing this train for as long as possible. Now, if you want to learn a lot more about this style of training, it's been popularized a lot by Dr. Mike Israetel. Now, you can look him up on YouTube or on Instagram. He also has a website with a lot of good articles on this matter, so highly recommend you guys to check it out and read up on all of the stuff that he has been spreading. Alright guys, that's it for this video. I sincerely hope you all enjoyed. If you did, please be sure to smash the like button, because it truly helps out the channel grow. Comment down below and subscribe to the channel, and turn post notifications on for so much more content coming really soon. I'm out, guys, and peace out. See you in the next one.